What's happening from an occult point of view? I'm struggling to establish interaction with the runes. I feel their power, but for various reasons, I am unable to interact with them. My previous interactions are more familiar to me. Why is this? Are the runes simply not my system? Is it not yet time? Or is something preventing me? Well, colleagues, I actually provided an answer to this question not so long ago. The tarot works on the Sephiroth tree. It is a very understandable and currently existing operating system. This is precisely why tarot divination is so popular. Tarot readings describe existing reality with great accuracy. However, using tarot readings, or tarot in general, to change a situation, for instance, is quite difficult without an initiation. To do so, you need to know specific combinations, and these combinations are closely guarded secrets that won't be revealed to you immediately. The runes, on the other hand, alter reality easily and effortlessly, though they do not work in the hands of everyone. If your consciousness is primarily anchored to the Sephiroth tree, the runes will not work for you because they will simply lack energy. For the runes to work, you need to extract your consciousness from the Sephiroth tree, which means detaching yourself from a particular egregorial system that feeds off that tree. And which egregorial systems draw their energy from this tree? First and foremost, these are the three lower arcana that extend upwards from Malkuth, the 21st, 22nd, and 19th arcana, if we read them from left to right. They correspond to the three Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Each of these religions inevitably attaches a person's consciousness to its channel. That is precisely why these three religions are enslaving. They keep the consciousness firmly attached with absolute certainty. The Abrahamic religion actually consists of 6 channels. There are 3 additional channels that are not enslaving, but they are not shown or represented on the Sephiroth tree, even though they are invisibly present. However, these 3 channels are quite clearly manifested, and typically, an ordinary human consciousness is attached precisely to them. These 3 channels firmly bind a person, giving them no chance to break free from this operating system. They do not even allow a partial transition into another one, and as long as a person is a servant and a follower of one of the 3 Abrahamic religions, they will never know freedom, because the very principle of freedom is simply not embedded in these systems. These 3 arcana are the ones that are now closing, as I mentioned in the YouTube video about Samhain. These arcana, the 21st, 22nd, and 19th, are now fading away. The 21st and 22nd arcana, like the first stages of a spaceship, were the first to fall away, leaving only the last, the 19th arcana, Islam. That is why Islam is now gaining maximum power. This is why both Christianity and Judaism are now being drawn into this channel, reaching agreements with Arabs, with Muslims, and making deals in every possible way. However, none of these channels exist independently. Each of them always has its downside. In the case of the 19th arcana, the downside is communism and socialism. That is why socialist and communist ideas have spread so widely, particularly in America. These ideas are the only ones that can counterbalance Islam. And now the battle is essentially over who will remain for these last 100 years or so, to eliminate the residual effects of influence and interaction with this operating system. In other words, the battle is about who will be the sole ruler, at least during this period, while the Sephiroth tree is still allowed to exist, even though its first 2 branches have already fallen away. So this remaining channel is the last one that supports the entire structure. And when you remove this illusory slave collar, you will be free. They are already gone. Only illusions and phantoms remain. You simply need to see it. Returning to the question of the runes, the more you practice the runes now, the more you study ancient cultures, paganism, and science. In other words, the more you move away from everything that is associated with Abrahamic religions, the more these Abrahamic channels will, by analogy, become detached from your consciousness, because at this point, if they still exist in your consciousness, they remain there purely as phantoms. The only exception is the Muslims. They are still on a tight leash and will not be released. They will not be liberated until the very end, because the Muslim channel, the last of the Abrahamic systems, was originally created for cleansing. It is meant to clean up after all the other channels once the whole project is shut down. And they still have time for that. That is why the Muslim channel is so active and aggressive now, because it faces virtually no competition. Ordinary believers, at least, do not see communism and socialism as competition, but of course, the higher hierarchies do. So, view this situation as the agony of the system, and understand that if you choose to participate in this agony, it will extend its suffering to your body and consciousness as well. You need to disconnect yourself from this system. If you are not a slave, you are not obliged to prolong the system's survival by paying for its existence with your own life, but for that, you must first make an agreement with yourself. Are you willing to give away a piece of your freedom in exchange for safety?